Hello, my noobs. How's it going? I hope you're having a fun time. You might notice things have got a bit different around here. Yes, it's spooky season, and I'm getting into the swing of things by dressing up as a witch and decorating my house. The cobwebs are actually real, though. It's 'cause I haven't dusted for quite some time. Don't judge me. Anyway, in honour of Halloween and all things spooky, I've decided to play some horror adjacent games. And the ones I've chosen are all quite short because I really don't have the patience. I honestly, I really don't. So the first one we're going to play is called Dagon. Dagon, I think that's how you pronounce it. Dagon by H.P Lovecraft, which from what I've seen should take about half an hour or so. It's a very simple point and click from what I can make out. I've not looked too much into it because I didn't want spoilers. And I quite like a bit of H.P Lovecraft, so it's going to be interesting to see how this works, what it's all about, whether it is Lovecraftian. So, without further ado, let's jump in. Get spooky. At the all-seeing eye, Dagon is a faithful interactive adaptation of H.P. Lovecraft's work, focused on story and atmosphere. You will not find difficult choices, action sequences, or inventory management here, and movement is limited to progressing through the locations along with the plot. Okay.
I am writing this under an appreciable mental strain, since by tonight I shall be no more.
During the game, you will encounter interactive elements. Some of them will allow you to continue your journey, others reveal interesting facts about the original short story, its historical background, and the author. Some of the trivia is hidden. In order to find these secrets, focus your eyes and look for the elder sign. I'm assuming that's the thing that looks like a tree branch. That's an elder sign there. What do I do? Right, how do I pick that up then? Oh, spacebar.
Lovecraft's letters. As to letters, my case is peculiar. I write such things exactly as easily and as rapidly as I would utter the same topics in conversation. Indeed, stolery expression is with me largely replacing conversation. My condition of nervous prostration becomes more and more acute.
Laugh like big words, didn't he?
I cannot bear to talk much now, and am becoming silent. As the spectator himself, my loquacity extends itself on paper. H.P. Lovecraft to Reinhard Kleiner, December 23rd, 1917. Throughout his life, Lovecraft penned around 100,000 letters.
Goodness gracious, his stamp bill must have been ridiculous.
100,000 letters to his friends and fans, out of which about 10% survive to this day.
Still 10,000 letters, right? Is that right? I don't do math.
But his tendency to endless correspondence was a relatively late growth. In youth, I scarcely did any letter writing. Thanking anybody for a present was so much of an ordeal that I would rather have written a 250-line pastoral or a 20-page treatise on the rings of Saturn. Collected Letters, 1929-31, H.P. Lovecraft. Lovecraft would often skip meals to afford postage.
So there you go, keep reading, Noodle.
Collections of his correspondence have been published in various books, and selected letters can be found online. Some readers consider them his most important legacy.
You can read the discovered trivia immediately or go back to them later. In the main menu, turn off display and trivia if you find that feature distracts you from the story. This can be changed anytime in the options. Yeah, we'll read it. Can we not go around there? It's not.
Penniless, and at the end of my supply of the drug which alone makes life endurable, I can bear the torture no longer, and shall cast myself from this garret window into the squalid street below. Do not think from my slavery to morphine that I am a weakling or a degenerate.
Just say no, kids.
When you have read these hastily scrawled pages, you may guess, though never fully realize, why it is that I must have forgetfulness or death.
Forgetfulness of death. It's like cake or death.
Cake or death? Cake, please.
Morphine. Not particularly YouTube friendly. Pause to read.
It was in one of the most open and least frequented parts of the broad Pacific that the packet of which I was supercargo fell a victim to the German sea raider.
Lovecraft and the Great War. Dagon was written around a month after the United States entered World War I. Lovecraft was actively interested in its cause. He composed many poems in which he gave encouragement to soldiers and commented on the events unfolding in Europe. He tried to enlist in the army, which he mentions in one of the letters to Reinhard Kleiner. Some time ago, impressed by my entire uselessness in the world, I resolved to attempt enlistment despite my almost invalid condition. I argued that if I chose a regiment soon to depart for France, my sheer nervous force, which is not inconsiderable, might sustain me till a bullet or piece of shrapnel could more conclusively and effectively dispose of me.
Nice.
But even though he passed the physical exam, his mother prevented him from going to the war. He has threatened to go to any length, legal or otherwise, if I do not reveal all the ills which unfit me for the army. I am Providence, Life and Times of H.P Lovecraft, E. Joshi.
Imagine your mum going, "No, you're not going, Sam. You're not going."
The Great War was then at its very beginning, and the ocean forces of the Hun had not completely sunk to their later degradation. So that our vessel was made a legitimate prize, whilst we of her crew were treated with all the fairness and consideration due us as naval prisoners.
The Huns were Central Asian nomads who established a dominion in Europe and invaded the Roman Empire in the 5th century AD. They were known as brutal, deadly warriors and masters of quick raids who also developed powerful composite bows, lassos and early siege weapons. During World War I, the British used the word Hun as a synonym for Germans in order to emphasise their brutality. However, the term originated when the German Emperor Wilhelm II gave a speech to his troops on the 27th of July 1900 before they embarked to China. Should you encounter the enemy, you will be defeated. No quarter will be given. Prisoners will not be taken. Whoever falls into your hands is forfeited. Just as 1,000 years ago, the Huns under their king Attila made a name for themselves, one that even today makes them seem mighty in history and legend. May the name German be affirmed by you in such a way in China that no Chinese will ever again dare look cross-eyed at a German.
Racist, Budge.
The refusal to take prisoners was a clear breach of the laws and customs of war adopted during the First Hague Convention of 1899.
I am nothing.
So liberal, indeed, was the discipline of our captors, that 5 days after we were taken, I managed to escape alone in a small boat with water and provisions for a good length of time. When I finally found myself adrift and free, I had but little idea of my surroundings. Never a competent navigator, I could only guess vaguely by the sun and stars that I was somewhat south of the equator. Of the longitude, I knew nothing, and no island or coastline was in sight.
Supposed to do now? There's not a lot to do out here, is there? Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 merrily. Life is but a dream. I am confusion.
So I am confusion. Why?
Ah,
The weather kept fair, and for uncounted days I drifted aimlessly beneath the scorching sun, waiting either for some passing ship or to be cast on the shores of some habitable land. But neither ship nor land appeared, and I began to despair in my solitude upon the heaving vastness of unbroken blue.
I'm blue, bada vida, I'm blue, bada vida. Sorry.
The change happened whilst I slept.
The change? Were you going through the menopause? What? I'm confused.
Its details I shall never know. For my slumber, though troubled and dream-infested, was continuous.
Alright. Things just got a bit weird. Release the Kraken!
Release the Kraken!
When at last I awoke, it was to discover myself half sucked into a slimy expanse of hellish black mire, which extended about me in monotonous undulations as far as I could see, and in which my boat lay grounded some distance away. Though one might well imagine that my first sensation would be of wonder at so prodigious and unexpected a transformation of scenery, I was in reality more horrified than astonished. For there was in the air and in the rotting soil a sinister quality which chilled me to the very core. The region was putrid with the carcasses of decaying fish and of other less describable things which I saw protruding from the nasty mud of the unending plain. Perhaps I should not hope to convey in mere words the unutterable hideousness that can dwell in absolute silence and barren immensity.
Freaking me out, man.
There was nothing within hearing and nothing in sight save a vast reach of black slime, Yet the very completeness of the stillness and the homogeneity of the landscape oppressed me with a nauseating fear. The sun was blazing down from a sky which seemed to me almost black in its cloudless cruelty, as though reflecting the inky marsh beneath my feet. As I crawled into the stranded boat, I realized that only one theory could explain my position.
Aliens.
Through some unprecedented volcanic upheaval, a portion of the ocean floor must have been thrown to the surface, exposing regions for which innumerable millions of years had lain hidden under unfathomable watery depths.
I know this is the 1910s, mate. That's not really how that works. But okay, we'll go with it.
So great was the extent of the new land which had risen beneath me that I could not detect the faintest noise of the surging ocean, straining my ears as I might. Nor were there any seafowl to prey upon the dead things. For several hours I sat thinking or brooding in the boat, which lay upon its side and afforded a slight shade as the sun moved across the heavens. As the day progressed, the ground lost some of its stickiness and seemed likely to dry sufficiently for traveling purposes in a short time. That night I slept but little, and the next day I made for myself a pack containing food and water, preparatory to an overland journey in search of the vanished sea and possible rescue. On the third morning, I found the soil dry enough to walk upon with ease.
Are you sure we want to do that?
The odor of the fish was maddening, but I was too much concerned with graver things to mind so slight an evil, and set out boldly for an unknown goal.
Well, how are we going to decide which way to go?
All day I forged steadily westward, guided by a faraway hummock which rose higher than any other elevation on the rolling desert.
Is it a desert, though? If it's watery and sticky? What would we call it instead? Thicket? It's like a giant crab or something. Ooh. Oh, not whales.
That night I encamped, and on the following day still travelled toward the hummock, though that object seemed scarcely nearer than when I had first espied it.
Ooh. Ooh.
The horrors of the ocean. The creation creator of the Cthulhu mythos and the fictional underwater city of Ryla was convinced that life could not exist at the bottom of the ocean because the water pressure would make it uninhabitable. Today we know that the darkest depths of the ocean are home to many peculiar organisms. The deepest dwelling fish we have discovered so far, the Mariana snailfish, can live about 8,000 metres, more than 26,000 feet below the ocean's surface, in never-ending darkness and at hellishly crushing pressures, hundreds of times stronger than those found at sea level. Upon glancing at the modern photos of deep-sea creatures, such as the anglerfish, the fangtooth, or the viperfish, and their truly Lovecraftian characteristics, it's hard not to find some irony in this.
Editor Noodle, please do some research. Thank you. I think I've seen a fangtooth. Anglerfish? Is that the one with the little light above its head? I don't know what a viperfish. Right, on we go. Belching.
By the fourth evening, I attained the base of the mound, which turned out to be much higher than it had appeared from a distance. An intervening valley setting it out in sharper relief from the general surface. Too weary to ascend, I slept in the shadow of the hill. I know not why my dreams were so wild that night.
Morphine, maybe? I'm just having a guess. Morphine withdrawal?
But ere the waning and fantastically gibbous moon had risen far above the eastern plain, I was awake in a cold perspiration, determined to sleep no more. Such visions as I had experienced were too much for me to endure again. And in the glow of the moon I saw how unwise I had been to travel by day. Without the glare of the parching sun, my journey would have cost me less energy. Indeed, I now felt quite able to perform the ascent which had deterred me at sunset. Picking up my pack, I started for the crest of the eminence.
Oh, you want to go up there at night? I mean, I would be like, maybe not.
I have said that the unbroken monotony of the rolling plain was a source of vague horror to me. But I think my horror was greater when I gained the summit of the mound and looked down the other side into an immeasurable pit or canyon, whose black recesses the moon had not yet soared high enough to illumine. I felt myself on the edge of the world, peering over the rim into a fathomless chaos of eternal night. Through my terror ran curious reminiscences of Paradise Lost, and of Satan's hideous climb through the unfashioned realms of darkness. As the moon climbed higher in the sky, I began to see that the slopes of the valley were not quite so perpendicular as I had imagined.
Well, don't make me go down there. Oh no.
Ledges and outcroppings of rock afforded fairly easy footholds for a descent.
Yeah, you might be able to go down, but what if you can't get back up again on the other side? Did you think about that? No, because I don't think you're thinking most things through.
Whilst after a drop of only a few hundred feet, the declivity became very gradual.
Alright, down we go then, I guess.
Urged on by an impulse which I cannot definitely analyze, I scrambled with difficulty down the rocks and stood on the gentler slope beneath. gazing into the Stygian deeps where no light had yet penetrated. All at once, my attention was captured by a vast and singular object on the opposite slope, which rose steeply about 100 yards ahead of me.
The monolith from 2001.
An object that gleamed whitely in the newly bestowed rays of the ascending moon.
Oh, well, the monolith was black, so maybe not.
That it was merely a gigantic piece of stone, I soon assured myself.
Why do I think that's not going to be the case, Sunshine?
But I was conscious of a distinct impression that its contour and position were not altogether the work of nature. A closer scrutiny filled me with sensations I cannot express. For despite its enormous magnitude and its position in an abyss which had yawned at the bottom of the sea since the world was young, I perceived beyond a doubt that the strange object was a well-shaped monolith.
It is the monolith from 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Whose massive bulk had known the workmanship and perhaps the worship of living and thinking creatures. Dazed and frightened, yet not without a certain thrill of the scientist's or archaeologist's delight, I examined my surroundings more closely. The moon, now near the zenith, shone weirdly and vividly above the towering steeps that hemmed in the chasm.
Oh, there's some stuff on it there. Are those goals?
And revealed the fact that a far-flung body of water flowed at the bottom, winding out of sight in both directions and almost lapping my feet as I stood on the slope. Across the chasm, the wavelets washed the base of the Cyclopean monolith, on whose surface I could now trace both inscriptions and crude sculptures. The writing was in a system of hieroglyphics unknown to me and unlike anything I'd ever seen in books. Consisting for the most part of conventionalized aquatic symbols such as fishes, eels, octopi, crustaceans, mollusks, whales, and the like. Several characters obviously represented marine things which are unknown to the modern world, but whose decomposing forms I had observed on the ocean-risen plain. It was the pictorial carving, however, that did most to hold me spellbound.
Storytelling method. Dagon contains many themes and storytelling methods that Lovecraft developed in his later works, such as telling the story through carvings, like the Mountains of Madness, the Nameless City, journals and characters' notes, the shadow at the time, the haunter of the dark, islands emerging from the ocean, the call of Cthulhu, or fictional beings and deities based on real events and mythologies. Migo in The Whisperer in Darkness. It's also considered the origins of popular Cthulhu mythos. Some of Lovecraft's other stories also conclude in a manner similar to Dagon, so let's skip the details in order not to spoil the ending.
plainly visible across the intervening water on account of their enormous size, were an array of bas-reliefs whose subjects would have excited the envy of a doré. I think that these things were supposed to depict men, at least a certain sort of men. Though the creatures were shown disporting like fishes in the waters of some marine grotto, or paying homage at some monolithic shrine which appeared to be under the waves as well.
Are they like Aquaman?
Aquaman!
Of their faces and forms I dare not speak in detail, for the mere remembrance makes me grow faint.
You're gonna get backbone, mate.
Grotesque beyond the imagination of a Poe or a Bulwer. They were damnably human in general outline, despite webbed hands and feet, shockingly wide and flabby lips, glassy, bulging eyes, and other features less pleasant to recall. Curiously enough, they seem to have been chiseled badly out of proportion with their scenic background. For one of the creatures was shown in the act of killing a whale, represented as but little larger than himself. I remarked, as I say, their grotesqueness and strange size.
Is it the creature from the Shape of Water?
But in a moment decided that they were merely the imaginary gods of some primitive fishing or seafaring tribe. Some tribe whose last descendant had perished eras before the first ancestor of the Piltdown or Neanderthal man was born.
Wasn't Piltdown a con? I can't remember. I'm sure it was someone beginning with P that was a con and a made up that block of... I want to say baboon skull. Editing noodle. Please do more research, thank you.
Awestruck at this unexpected glimpse into a past beyond the conception of the most daring anthropologist, I stood musing whilst the moon cast queer reflections on the silent channel before me.
Well, if it's silent, why can I hear water?
Then, suddenly, I saw it.
What? Uh-oh, what's that?
With only a slight churning to mark its rise to the surface, the thing slid into view above the dark waters. Fiend-like and loathsome, it darted like a stupendous monster of nightmares to the monolith, about which it flung its gigantic scaly arms, while it bowed its hideous head and gave vent to certain measured sounds.
What do you call raw measured?
I think I went mad then. Of my frantic ascent of the slope and cliff, and of my delirious journey back to the stranded boat, I remember little.
What a wasted journey. Like 4 days. Okay, I'm obviously having a bit of a ooh moment.
I believe I sang a great deal and laughed oddly when I was unable to sing.
The poor whale. And the crab thing.
I have indistinct recollections of a great storm sometime after I reached the boat. At any rate, I know that I heard pearls of thunder and other tones which nature utters only in her wildest moods. came out of the shadows, I was in a San Francisco hospital.
Is it a special hospital for special people?
Brought thither by the captain of the American ship which had picked up my boat in mid-ocean.
Wait, what? I thought the boat was in the sea floor, which had risen up.
In my delirium, I had said much, but found that my words had been given scant attention. Of any land upheaval in the Pacific, my rescuers knew nothing.
Definitely to do with the drugs. Definitely. You need to change your dosage, mate.
Nor did I deem it necessary to insist upon a thing which I knew they could not believe.
The journalist. Lovecraft was a prominent figure in the world of amateur journalism. In 1915, he started publishing his own journal called The Conservative, which included political and social commentary, poetry, short stories, and literary criticism written by him and other authors. Howard was a skilled wordsmith, but he also took criticism to heart, which resulted in his decision to step away from writing poetry and concentrate on weird fiction again, the first time since his teenage years. Dagon, published in 1919, is one of the short stories written during that period. In this example excerpt from The Conservative, the master of horror fiction explains his attitude towards warfare and the idea of world peace.
Why any sane human being can believe in the possibility of universal peace is more than the conservative can fathom. Could the entire civilized world agree simultaneously to disarm, one or more nations would undoubtedly retain secret armaments, and at the proper time take advantage of their more altruistic and less astute contemporaries in a wild career conquest against unarmed victims. No country is, or ever can be, above warfare until the basic impulses of the human animal shall have miraculously changed.
Anything else to look at? A pen? I guess we're moving on. Need to boil on that, love.
Once I sought out a celebrated ethnologist and amused him with peculiar questions regarding the ancient Philistine legend of Dagon, the fish god.
Dagon was the main deity of the Philistines, worshipped throughout the Middle East as the ancient god of fertility and crops. In Hebrew, the word Dagon was a common noun for grain. The rulers of Akkad, Mesopotamia, chose him as the patron saint of their war conquest. He also appeared as the judge of the dead in an Assyrian poem and an underworld prison warder in one of the Babylonian texts. He is often mistakenly taken for a fish god due to the wrong interpretation of his name. In Hebrew, the word dag means fish. In H.P Lovecraft's works, Dagon is an underwater deity ruling over the deep ones, a human race with fish traits that reside in the oceans. He is worshipped by a secret cult called the Esoteric Order of Dagon.
Why is there always a secret cult? Always comes back to secret cults, doesn't it?
But soon perceiving that he was hopelessly conventional, I did not press my inquiries.
Oh, can't talk to him, he's far too straight-laced. Here, have some morphine, mate. Give it a program. Start seeing the stuff I'm seeing.
The Marketer. Lovecraft's attempts to find a job in 1925 were influenced by advice he received from friends. Among others, he started freelancing for a marketing magazine, where he would write announcements and commercials. Feel free to judge his copywriting skills for yourself. From an ad for Curtis Woodwork.
Curtis Woodwork embraces both the usual structural units and the cleverest contrivances of built-in or permanent furniture, such as bookcases, dressers, buffets and cupboards. Every model is conceived and created with the purest art, ripest scholarship, and mellowest craftsmanship which energetic enterprise can command, and made to conform rigidly to the architecture of each particular type of home. The cost, considering the quality, is amazingly low, and a trademark on the individual pieces prevents any substitution by careless contractors.
It's a bit wordy, isn't it, really? I mean, you could have just gone cupboards for sale. Deep. That would have done the job, wouldn't it? One more.
August the Journalist and the Cthulhu Mythos.
Am I saying Cthulhu right?
Cthulhu.
Cthulhu, not Cthulhu. Cthulhu. Apologies for mispronouncing it earlier.
August the Journalist was an American writer and anthologist. He also befriended Lovecraft and published many of his works through his company Arkham House.
Arkham, as in Arkham Asylum in Batman.
Although he greatly contributed to the popularisation of the author's works after his death, he is surrounded by numerous controversies. One of his most questionable decisions involved introducing the good versus evil doctrine. Derleth was a devout Catholic, to the Cthulhu Mythos, which contrasted with Lovecraft's view of the world and his approach to cosmic horror. The result, the author's works are often misunderstood and misrepresented in today's culture. It's also worth noting that Lovecraft was never really interested in creating a mythology, and the term Cthulhu Mythos was coined by Derleth after the author left the mortal plane. Scientist. These days the word scientist is a widely accepted term, but at the time Dagon was published, it was subject to wide debate. After the author used it in the story, critics pointed out that man of science was a more appropriate term to employ. He admitted, in defence of Dagon, that if Dagon were to be reprinted, he would indeed abuse the phrase they suggested. Scientist was coined as an analogue to artist, to be used when referring to those studying different branches of science. Yet in the 19th and early 20th century, scientific researchers in Great Britain and the United States were of the opinion that man of science, resembling the term man of letters, was the only proper choice. Among other things, it was gender specific, indicating that science was an endeavour to be pursued only by one sex.
Love me some misogyny.
The term scientist became more accepted only after World War II, man of science started fading into obscurity as an old-fashioned synonym.
Was that? And women started to be allowed to science things as well.
It is at night, especially when the moon is gibbous and waning, that I see the thing. I tried morphine, but the drug has given only transient surcease and has drawn me into its clutches as a hopeless slave. So now I am to end it all, having written a full account for the information or the contemptuous amusement of my fellow men.
Lovecraft on tobacco and alcohol.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
Lovecraft hated tobacco, even though he used to smoke when he was 12. In order to look and feel like an adult, in his correspondence with friend Reinhard Kleiner, he claims that he quit as soon as he started wearing long pants. He also had a very strong opinion about alcohol, as evidenced by his letter to Zelia Brown, dated 30th of February 1928.
As for the matter of drinking, I have never tasted intoxicating liquor and never intend to, having a strong aesthetic disgust at anything which blunts or coarsens the delicate natural
Equipoise? Equipoise?
Equipoise.
Equipoise.
having a strong aesthetic disgust at anything which blunts or coarsens the delicate natural equipoise of the evolved human intellect and imagination. Drinking excited my personal repugnance, hence I don't drink. Let the herd do what they will. I am rather in favour of prohibition, the prohibition of any one antisocial force as well as of any other.
And yet, you're writing about morphine and stuff, so apparently morphine's not as bad as cigarettes and alcohol. Okay. And yet there's wine, hard drugs.
Often, I ask myself if it could not all have been a pure phantasm. A mere freak of fever as I lay sun-stricken and raving in the open boat after my escape from the German man of war.
That would be my first thought. That or you started doing morphine earlier than you're telling us.
This I ask myself, but ever does there come before me a hideously vivid vision in reply. I cannot think of the deep sea without shuddering at the nameless things that may at this very moment be crawling and floundering on its slimy bed, worshipping their ancient stone idols and carving their own detestable likenesses on submarine obelisks of water-soaked granite. I dream of a day when they may rise above the billows to drag down into their reeking talons the remnants of puny, war-exhausted mankind. Of a day when the land shall sink and the dark ocean shall ascend amidst universal pandemonium. The end is near.
sculpture sounding. Oh, is that the door's going? Ah.
I hear a noise at the door, as of some immense slippery body lumbering against it.
That could be the morphine, mate. I mean, you just took a whole vial of it. I'm gonna say that's probably a little bit too much. Every time I open the door, can I go out the window? No.
It shall not find me.
I think it has found you.
God, that hand! The window! The window!
Oh, that had to hurt. Did we get all the trivia? No, didn't get all the trivia. Missed quite a bit. Anyway. I thought I was super careful. Apparently not. Okay. Let's have a chat about my thoughts on Dagon by H.P Lovecraft. This is actually a fun little game. Not too much to it. Just point and click. So, obviously there is very much a set path that you have to go down. I'm intrigued to figure out that I didn't get all of the trivia, because thought I was looking at absolutely everything. But I obviously missed a few bits and pieces. The graphics were stunning. The storyline was a bit basic. And I thought the drug references maybe could have been left out to make it suitable for a slightly younger audience who could have probably enjoyed it with just the point and click stuff. It was fun. It took me just under an hour, I guess. If you've got an hour to spare, highly recommend. I think I got this for free. I don't think I paid for it. Yeah, so the game is free on the dog. I'll leave the link in the description below. And then if you want the DLC, there are 2 DLCs. The Eldritch box is $3.99, and the little glass bottle is $2.89. So it's not going to break the bank if you wanted to have the add-ons. But I enjoyed it. It was a pleasant way to spend an hour. Learned a bit of extra trivia about H.P Lovecraft. 1,000 letters, and they said he came to letter writing later on in life. 1,000 letters, and having to go without your din-dins to buy stamps. Crikey. Can you imagine getting a letter through the door?
Oh, bloody hell, not another letter from H.P. bloody Lovecraft again. Oh.
Have you played Dagon? Have you played any of the DLC content? Let me know. Have you read H.P Lovecraft? Comment down below. Let me know if there's any other similar games I should check out. Any other H.P Lovecraft content I should be looking at, like films, or don't suggest books. I'm not a big reader at the moment. I used to be prolifically into reading, and now I just don't have time for it, which is terrible, I know. Don't come at me. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm not quite sure what our next scary game is going to be, but make sure you hit that notification bell to find out when I upload the next instalment of the Spooky Halloween game series. Until next time, my noobs, have a good one.